I think this is the most interesting piece in the whole drop. What's going on YouTube? Taylor Prentice back here with another video, and this week's video is going to be about the week 9 Supreme drop. So I'm obviously here on my guys Drops by Jay Instagram. If you guys don't know, he is the man when it comes to Supreme drops. If you want to know what's coming out before it gets released publicly, you need to follow him on Instagram. He pretty much is always on point. There are some times where he won't get the full drop, or there'll be a couple items that get removed before the drop, but for the most part he's always on point. So with that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and get on into his post. As you guys saw earlier, he had released like a partial collection, and I actually made a whole video about that, but then I saw he released the full collection, so I just scrapped it and went back, and now I'm gonna do the whole collection. So let's get into it. So looking at this whole collection, obviously we've got a pretty decent amount of stuff here, and it's pretty varied on like colors and what type of items there are. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get on into the first pieces, which looking at, we have the tops. So we have these really cool sweaters. I think these are actually really sick. In my last video I said I probably wouldn't wear a Supreme sweater, but these are definitely ones that I would wear. Both of these colors are awesome, I think, but if I had to pick one, I would go with this teal, purple, yellow, whatever, like rainbow type of color one. I think it's really cool, but I also think the brown one is really pleasant and could go with a lot more things obviously than the super loud one. But I think the design on those is really cool, and this logo on the front is not something that I love, but it doesn't bother me either. It's pretty minimal, and I feel like you probably won't even be able to notice it, so not a big deal breaker for me there. This is definitely a piece I would cop. So next we have these bowling shirts, and if you watched my video last week, I actually talked about how shirts in that drop kind of reminded me of bowling shirts, or like of the shirts that people wear in The Sopranos, like especially Tony. While those were a little more along the lines of what like mobster kind of people would wear, these are more true bowling t-shirts, or not t-shirts but bowling shirts, excuse me. As you guys can tell, they've got like the place for the team name, but it just says Supreme, and then they've all got like the black collars, and they've got that really like sheeny, shiny, like satin type of material. So I think this is really cool. It looks like they zip up too, which is cool. I would have expected it to be a button up, but it does look like a zip up. And I think the colors they went with are fire, especially on this pink one. I think the brown one's pretty cool too. I do wish it was like brown, orange, and yellow, like the 70s, 80s vibe kind of colorways, but I do like the green too. And it'll be cool to see what colors they go with for the stripes on the black shirt. I'm hoping they go with similar colors to this pink shirt, kind of like the Miami Heat retro jersey vibes, but just with the black base of the shirt. And then moving on to these tops, we've got this like pattern top, and I kind of like all these tops. I actually think the lavender one is my favorite. If you guys didn't notice, they've got these little small like star Supreme logos here, and I kind of wish they didn't put it on the one with the pattern. I think it is just kind of like weird, especially because it's brown and black, and then just the logo kind of doesn't really fit with the pattern, I don't think. But I think the logo looks really cool on like this lavender one. It's definitely standout. And as we go on to the next slides, you guys will see that there are matching pants for all these, or actually I think there's matching pants for all of them, and then there's like another pair of jeans too. So when we get to bottoms, you guys will see those. But I think this is the most interesting piece in the whole drop. We have these Supreme Mitchell and Ness like jersey jackets, which the design is really cool. It's a really cool idea. You guys can't see the backs here, but I'll try and throw another picture of them in so you guys can see. The backs have like numbers on them. I think the number's 22 for just the year. But I love this logo. This font is really cool. The colors they went with are sick in my opinion. It really gives me NBA Volume 2 vibes, if you guys are old enough to remember that. That's a legendary game. So I thought this was like a really cool homage to just basketball, and just it feels very New York. So I'm expecting to see some cool fits in this, hopefully from athletes, and hopefully just some from New Yorkers. And moving on to the next piece, we've got these hoodies, and if you zoom in, you can tell that the logos are like studded on there, which I'm not really a big fan of studs, but I do like the colorways that they've done. in this one. I like the green. I really like this heather gray and blue. That's actually probably my favorite. But pretty much all of these look really solid. I think if I were to get one, it would definitely be that heather gray and blue, and then probably the black second. But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the studded logos. And keep in mind, that's not like a normal print or embroidery, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive than your typical hoodies if I had to assume so. I'm going to guess like $10 or $20, so not a huge difference, but just a little bit more because that's a little bit harder of a logo to create. And then moving on, we've got Supreme. I think they're just pocket logo tees. It's kind of hard to tell. It almost doesn't even look like this camo one has a logo, but I said that because it looks like the brown one does, and it definitely looks like there's a pocket there. I don't really have an opinion on these. Not something I would wear. They're just kind of basic. I don't know. Not for me. And then moving on to pants, I haven't actually seen these yet. These were not included in the initial drop that he had posted. I'm not sure. Oh, that's just a Supreme logo. I actually really like that logo. That like 50s thing is pretty sick. But as far as these pants go, I don't love the fit, I don't think, and I don't really love any pairs of these. I like the cream ones a little, but these are like just a solid pass for me. Nothing special here in my opinion. And then moving on, we've got shorts. And initially I thought these shorts were sweat shorts that were just like acid washed, but as you guys can tell, they're corduroy. And before it looked like the plaid ones didn't have the logo, but obviously you can see here the plaid ones do have the logo. And I don't like the logo, to be honest. It's like a little baby angel and then it just says Supreme under it, which I don't know, I'm not really a fan of. And I was kind of hyped when I saw that there were sweat shorts, so I was a little disappointed when I found out that they were corduroy shorts. I actually like corduroy, but I don't love the idea of corduroy shorts for some reason. And yeah, I don't know, I was just a little bummed out when I figured out that they weren't sweat shorts. And then the next thing we've got is those matching pants for those tops that I had mentioned earlier. And like the tops, the lavender ones are my favorite, but I could pretty much see myself wearing all of these too. But similar to the tops, I'm not like super convicted to buy any of these pieces either. Just I think they're cool, but they're not something that I really feel like I need, which is pretty much the whole theme for this week. Looking at this next slide, we've got a leveler, or I'm not even sure like what you call that, but something to make sure your paintings and stuff are level around your house. Oh, crystal level, it says right there. By Ebisu Diamond. So I have no idea who that is. If you guys know anything about that brand or who that is, let me know down below. And then we've got this Supreme skateboard, which this is pretty cool. I'm not someone who's gonna buy skateboards because like I said in my last video, I don't know how to skateboard, so probably not something you'll see me buying, but I do think the design on this is pretty cool. I'm not sure what this is replicating. Obviously it says vinyl acrylic latex flat. I'm not sure what this design is like inspired by, but I'm sure someone will post it someday, so it'll be cool to see what that is from. But I think it's a really cool design as far as skateboards go. And then last, we have these magic markers. So the magic markers are something that got released pretty early on in the week as being something that's going to drop, and that's just pretty cool. I'm not sure if they're like actual magic markers. Obviously you guys can see that it's an Asian brand with the branding on the box, but I'm not sure who that is. That might be the Ebisu Diamond. As you can see, that was made in Japan, so that might be Japanese. I'm not sure, but I think it's cool that they're doing that. That's not something that I have any interest in buying, but I just love little like Supreme random items like that, and I think they're really cool. And then moving on to hats, I'm not ever really like a big fan of Supreme hats. We've got these like camp hats, which hard pass for me. They're like a camo, almost like a digital camo. It looks like they're ripstop material, something like that. But yeah, like I said, just not a fan of hats from them typically. And then next we've got chambray hats with the S logo embroidered on, and then the Supreme logo embroidered on the back with, it looks like a leather strap, which is cool to see that it's a leather strap, pretty high quality. These look like nice hats, and it looks like they're a chambray material. If you guys can look at like the red one and this tan one and the blue one, it's a little easier to tell. And chambray, if you don't know, is like close to like a denim. It's just a lot lighter and thinner. I'm actually not really a fan of chambray. or the way it looks. For some reason, I just feel like it looks cheap, although I have seen nice chambray pieces, so to each his own as far as that goes, but this will be a piece that I'm definitely passing on. And then the Supreme beanies, which, I mean, are just Supreme beanies. Like, they're just your typical beanie with the Supreme box logo on them. They're pretty cool if you need a beanie, but they're not something that I'm looking to add either. And then we've got these bags. I haven't seen these yet. I actually kind of like the book bags. They're pretty simple. I like the shape of them. You could probably fit a decent amount of them. It looks like just how they're made. I'm curious to see how big they are. It's hard to tell just based on this picture. And then the big tote bags, I'm not sure if those are like insulated or something, so it'd be cool to see if there's any further technology that I'm not able to see in this picture. And then last but not least, baby, we've got one of the coolest things in the drop, the Supreme mac and cheese. So as a kid, I loved mac and cheese. I loved the SpongeBob mac and cheese especially. I felt like the pieces with like the holes in them like allowed more cheese to soak up or whatever, so I'm sure these smack. Although the last time I had Kraft mac and cheese, it did not smack like it did when I was a kid. So if you haven't eaten it in a while, just beware. It might not live up to the hype that you remember. But I thought this was just really cool to see. The little kid in me just loved this. It's cool to see, obviously, like the Supreme macaroni pieces, and then it's also cool to see the little Kraft dinosaur with the Supreme box logo on. Just cool little touches, and this would be something that I would like to have. It's honestly probably the only thing that I would actually buy from this drop. With that being said, like, I thought a lot of pieces were cool, but I just don't feel a strong conviction towards any of these pieces. There's no pieces where like I gotta have it, and I would love to have this mac and cheese, but I'm not paying like $10 for shipping just to get mac and cheese. Sorry, can't fold, can't do it. But if I were getting another item, I would probably throw the mac and cheese in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know down below what you guys think about this drop. Obviously there's a lot of stuff. I think the sweaters are probably the coolest thing, other than the mac and cheese, obviously. But I would actually wear both of those sweaters. I'm just interested to see how much they are. They're probably like out of what I'm willing to pay right now, so that's a big reason why. If I had like unlimited money, they're definitely a piece that I would try to pick up. I don't think resale is going to be crazy on any of these pieces, and I think most of them probably won't sell out like super quick. If I had to take a guess, maybe the sweaters will be a limited quantity, but I'm not sure. It seems like those would probably be like the hardest thing to make out of everything, so I would imagine there was less of those if there was less of anything. Actually, the Mitchell & Ness thing will probably sell out first. They'll probably be the most limited quantity on that, just because it's a collab, and I feel like anything Supreme Mitchell & Ness does pretty well. So I guess if you want to try to get something to resell, that's what I would buy, but as far as resale stuff goes, I would probably just sit this one out. And yeah, I'm sitting this one out as a normal consumer because there's not anything that I love. But obviously, if you guys love something, go and get that. And yeah, if you made it to this point in this video, thank you so much for watching. If you could hit that like and subscribe, that would help me out a lot. I would appreciate it. And if you're interested, catch me next week because I'll be doing the same thing. So have a good one, and we will see you then.